In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to run in memory mate mode in Easy Composites version 2. This is actually very simple to run. The most difficult part about the memory mate mode is actually setting up a template for the memory mates. I've got a couple on the website that are set up and ready to go, so if you don't want to go through the hassle of doing that, just pick one of those up. But what memory mate mode is going to do, it's going to take each of the images from your folder, and then it's going to put each of those into slot 1 and save a copy for each one with slot 1, so that way each student can be in the featured slot. Now, it doesn't matter what template you use, it will still run if you're in memory mate mode. However, if you're running, like, for example, the standard template here, it's going to put each of those images in slot 1, which is just this first slot in the upper left-hand corner, which, I don't know, you may want that, but that's not really a memory mate. But there is no rules that says slot 1 has to be in the upper left corner, and there's no rules that says it has to be the same size as the other slots, and there's no rules that says you have to use the same layer styles and the same font for the name. So you can customize that featured slot however you want to for the template design. So if I just check memory mate mode on here, it's going to give us some save options. And the reason why is because it's going to save a copy of each of those. And then we'll have to select the save folder. And that's the only thing different you have to do to run. Now it's going to save the files with the original file name unless you have this underscore comp checked. And then at the end of the file name, it's going to put underscore comp. That's just a way so that way you don't have the same file name as the original to prevent you from accidentally copying and pasting and overwriting those files. That's up to you. You can leave that on or off. The only other thing before I run this, I'll point out here. Let's say, for example, you want each of the students to go in slot 1, but you always want the teacher in this first slot here, which is actually slot 2 in this case. In your folder of images, you can just put the number 1 in front of their name, and that number 1 is just going to sort that ahead of the rest. Now, that number 1 doesn't mean it's going to always try to put it in slot 1. It's just using that as a sorting mechanism. So I hope that makes sense. That number doesn't correlate to the slot number. It's just putting that in the first position of the sorting order. So that you could put 2, 3, 4, 5 in there. It really doesn't matter because numbers will come before letters in the sorting order. And that's about it. I will point out too, I'll discuss this, I guess, more in the batch processing videos. But if you're batch processing and you're using a data sheet, it's not going to use the number 1 for that. You'll have to use the data sheet to specify the order. But for this case, we are using data mode of file names. That's where it's importing the name data. So in that case, it will use the number in a file name for the sorting. All right, I'm just going to hit build here. Oh, I got to close the template first. Oops, I didn't select the template I want. Sorry about that. All right, we will get this right here. So let me select the template folder I want. The memory mate center template. All right, now it should do a memory mate. Okay, so you can see that when you first start it, it just stops right here for you. Well, and the reason why is because since it's going to be saving off copies of the image, since we're not running in batch mode right now, we need to edit the template because we don't want it saving with this placeholder text. Now, if you're running in batch mode, you'll have a data sheet set up and it will automatically replace this text. But since we're not in batch mode and the memory mate has to save a copy of each, we'll have to first set up the text items. And when we do this, it's going to use whatever we set up here for every single image. So let's just put in school name. You, of course, can put in whatever you want in the text layers. Okay. Oh, typo there. All right, so once you're happy with that, you just hit continue. Then it's going to build off all of your composites. And you can see that it's starting out with the teacher in the first slot because we had the 1 in front of the name, and that's sort of the teacher to the front. But after it builds the entire template, it's then going to rotate each image through. So I'll just put the video on time lapse and we'll look at it when it's done. All right, it finished in just over 3 minutes, and that created us 33 composites, so not too bad. We go over to, let's see, our save folder here. When we scroll through, we can see that it's made each one, and then it's kept the teacher in the first slot here, or in slot 2, which is the upper left-hand corner, and it's rotating each student through the featured slot, and it's keeping everything in alphabetical order by last name. So really pretty slick. And like I say, this is just as easy to run as it is in normal mode, other than you have to set up a save folder. And like I say, the most difficult part would be setting up a template, but I've already got a couple of templates set up for this, ready to go for standard class sizes. So if you're interested, make sure to check those out.